is the book that's printed. I printed the cover on a little heavier stock and the inside pages on just regular paper, okay? And I checked before I left the store against my folding dummy that the pages were not only in the right order, which looks like the wrong order, but they were heads up on both sides. I also held them up to light to make sure that the registration was good. And in this case, you can see where the registration is, right? You see that?
What do you mean?
I'm looking at these dots right here.
Uh-huh,
See the-
okay, that
see
should
that?
be the middle.
Yeah, they should line up. If they don't line up, you can accept maybe a 1/4 inch, so we can split the difference. Yeah, sometimes printing front to back is not the easiest of things. The next thing I want to make sure before I start stitching this together is that this is in the right order, and I can take a look at it right now and know that it's not. So here's page 1, right? Here's page 2. Here's page 3. This could be a real nightmare, so your folding dummy will save you if you get lost doing this. I've done it a couple times, so I get it. Anyway, so now I'm back in the right order. Before I get going here, it's probably easiest for me to score these, and I have these wonderful tools to make folding so much funner. These guys, I used to use a clay tool that had just a round ball on the end of a metal thing, but I can't find them anymore. But I did find these. These are nail decoration tools where you dip them in, right? And they work great, and they were cheap. They're like $1 for like 6 of them, right? So I'm looking for one that's medium-ish, like this size, right? I want to, if I have a misregistration here, I'm going to hold it up to the light and I'm going to draw a little pencil line right between those two lines so that I split the difference. If I fold it on one side, I'm going to have a 1/4 inch misregistration on the back. If I split the difference, it's an 1/8 inch on each side, which is more acceptable. In this case, they're lined up pretty well, so I'm just going to go with one side. All right. So here we go. I'm folding these, or I'm scoring them on the direction I want to fold them. I'm going to actually crush the paper a little bit this way so it makes it easier to fold. Anytime you have to fold something, especially if it's printed with dark color, black, you don't want it to crack on the outside. Score it first, then fold it, and you'll get a better fold. Okay? So here we go. I'm going to line this one up to that one, like so. And I'm not pushing too hard. If I push too hard, I will tear the paper. If I have something cushy, this is a little cushy underneath it. You can use a stack of paper if you wanted to. It will help in the folding process, okay? So I'm going to do this in kind of reverse order. I'm just going to score them all first. You will also notice on my cover, inside, front, and back cover, and my cover itself, that I have a bleed. You can see where my trim marks are, but I have color going up beyond the bleed. So that way, if my registration is off, I'm not going to end up with an unsightly white line outside. Okay, so let's fold these. I have this, which is a clay tool. I have this, which is a folding bone. I don't know if it's made out of bone. Maybe it is. I don't know. Ew, I'm touching a bone. Yuck. But this is a traditional tool for bookbinding. So either thing will work. And I've even used like a closed round ink pen or something, just so I can make sure that that's a nice flat fold. Okay. So I'm going to do this in kind of reverse order and put them all back together. Well, I'm glad I'm not doing the phone book. All right, one more time. I'm gonna flip through my pages and make sure that the order is correct. So now I'm back in reader spreads from all these printer spreads. But just before I start putting this together, and I can't back up, I want to make sure that I do that. Okay? So everything looks good. So far, so good. This is styrofoam. This is an awl. and a wine cork. Oh, it's $2 chuck. So you can use just about anything. I'm going to make holes in the spine of the book so that I can thread my thread through it to sew it together. So you can even buy needles. Now these are book binding needles. This is in Hello Kitty eraser. But these book binding needles I found are just, they're too much trouble. First of all, you have to thread it with whatever thread you have. They have big eyes on them, but not quite big enough to get the waxed string that I'm going to use through. So I found a better way is just to poke holes and then thread it through with another method, and I'll show you that in a second. But right now, I want to mark where I'm going to poke those holes. And I'm going to do it from the inside of the book, and I'm going to have a pencil, which I don't have. I'm going to grab a pencil. So one in the middle. I'm only going to make three holes in this. So one in the middle. So I'm going to go right between those two registration marks, and 3 inches works for me. And then about an inch from the outside, the top and the bottom. Okay. All right. So I have 3 marks. Now is a really good time to make sure that this is all lined up as close as possible. I'm going to pinch it tight right here so that nothing slides around. I'm going to grab my styrofoam, it has a lot of holes in it already, and my awl, and I'm going to poke a hole right there. I'm going to be careful not to poke too big of a hole. One right here. Okay, and then one more here. All right, that's it. 3 holes. I should be able to see light through them, and I can. That's wonderful. Put the tool away so you don't stab yourself. Next, string. Here's purple string. This is a book binding string. You can buy all kinds of book binding stuff. It's so cool to have, and you can show it off to your friends and family. My book binding string is waxed, I guess, so that it doesn't oxidize and break on me in the future. So this book will be handed down from generation to generation to generation, a real family keepsake. The problem with the needles, like I said, was threading them, but I have these things. If you threaded needles before and you have trouble with it, you have these cheap things that you can buy in any sewing store. And what it is, it's teeny, tiny little piece of wire on the end of this thing. You stick it through the needle, you put the thread through the bigger hole, and then you pull the thread through that hole. I'm going to do the same thing with the book by sticking it through the center of this hole. And see how it pops out on the other side? Huh? Oh yeah, I'm a genius, I'm a genius. Okay, so through here, the thread goes. I'm going to leave about an inch and I'm going to fold it over. You can use dental floss, any kind of string that you'd like. You can use some of this. And all I'm going to do is pull it through the center hole like this, right? Without breaking the needle thing. I break a lot of these things. Okay, now I just...
No, they're very flimsy.
They're very flimsy.
I've used them.
They're so delicate. Okay, now from the center, now realize where I'm going. I'm going out from here, and I need to come back to the outside here. So I'm going to go through one of these holes. If I made the hole big enough, I might be able to just push this thread through it. Oh, look at that. All right. Give myself a little slack here. That should work. Okay. So down through the middle. It's a little harder going this way, so I'm going to push this back through here. I'm going to put that in there, like so. Pull it back through the hole. Okay, now I broke this one. That's a demonstration of how to break the needle threader. And I don't think I'm going to be able to get through there without a needle threader, but I can try. I can try. No, I'm not going to try. That's why they come in packs of 3. Okay, back through this hole. There's the needle threader. Come on. Stay with me. And I could have made those holes a little bit bigger, too. So I'm going to go about an inch. And this last one should be tough. Come on, there we go. Don't give up on me now. There we go. Okay. So I only broke one needle threader. That's good. I don't need all this thread, and I don't have my Hello Kitty scissors, so I'm going to just cut this off with this. Real quick. All right. So I want to pull these things so that they're snug. I usually, on the outside of these things, I put that extra string between the two before I tie them. So one on one side and one on the other side. And that way it just keeps it from flopping around too much, right? You can put as many holes as you like. If you want to, you know, suture this thing all up, that'd be fine. So it looks like this in the middle. On the outside, I'm just going to tie it. Notice I have not trimmed out my pages. Trust me when I say that is the correct way to go. Do not trim out your pages until you are done binding it, because things can move around, shift around, and then you'll be all in trouble. I'll take my handy knife here and cut off the excess a little bit. Oops, and scratch the cover if I can. There we go. All right, so this mess out of the way. So far, so good? All right. Now I'm going to cut it out. The problem is I'm going to cut it all out at one time. I want it to be flat, and I want to cut through it so that all the pages are even. If I tried to cut this out first and then put it together, they'd be helter-skelter everywhere. All right, so the problem is I don't have a line on this side that I can see. So I could open it up this way, put my ruler across here, and draw a line that I can see lightly here, and then another one down at the bottom. Okay. So with this folded and flat, I want to keep this as flat as I can now. I'm going to start on the outside edge. Let's do a little trick. There we go. All right, with those things lined up, I want the book flat, keep my fingers out of the danger zone. I don't want to cut all this off, because if I cut it all the way off, then those registration marks are going to be gone. So I'm going to start well above. My knife is perpendicular. I'm not making heavy cuts. I am also cutting on my protected healing mat here, so I'm not cutting through Mom's dining room table. And just over and over again. Once I get through the last piece of paper, the sound will change and the feeling will change in the knife, so I'll know that I'm all the way through. All right? But don't try to cut this in one or two strokes, or you're going to be in trouble. So I can hear the difference now. I can feel the difference now. I know that those are cut all the way through. All right? So there we go. Outside edge. That's lined up. Keep my book flat still, and the same process.
The green you're cutting out, is that your bleed?
That is my bleed, that's correct. If I had color on every one of my pages that went off the edge, if I didn't have that bleed, some pages would have a white piece of paper where it misregistered, some would not. So that's what the bleed is for, just to absorb some of the sloppiness. Oops. That's it. So book made. Nice to have this little thicker cover. It makes it feel more like a book. This is when you don't want to discover that you had one of the pages upside down or out of order, but it should read just like a book like that. Okay? Questions?
So cool.
Is that cool? You could make,
Very
you know,
cool.
fun little, I don't know, photo albums. Send them to the family.